Has Generation 3 really been that difficult? It's hard to say. For a majority of the game, I've been cruising along. The only time I ever ran into a problem was against May on Route 110, but that leaves only the Elite Four and the champions standing in the way. Nothing stopped me yet, but the difficulty will come down to this. If you've ever seen the 2 previous generations videos, I think you know the drill here. We gotta make it more strategic. I only have access to 1 revive the entire run, 2 potions against the Elite Four, and 3 against the champion. If they use any, that number goes up with however many they use. With that stipulation set, Hoenn Elite Four, get ready to be shattered. Sydney, the Dark-type Elite Four member. I think it's time you speak to Psyche. She's going to be great in this battle. Although with Steven lurking at the end, I'm gonna need to keep her around as much as I can. Mighty Anna doesn't serve a purpose, other than intimidating her. But in comes Absol. Something's up. Why would a straight-up Dark type come out now? I feel a flying type move coming, which is exactly what Callie takes. She doesn't take it too well, but I mean, what else do I have? I don't have a flying type resist, and that's biting me in the ass. But I guess that's why at least I have Lochte as the tank. The issue with using him is that I know Sydney has grass types remaining. So back into Psyche I go. Clear out Cacturn. Clear out shit. Extra sensory coverage on Shiftry sounds like something that would be in a Generation 6 or 7 game, but in Generation 3? I better hope I can survive long enough to revive her when it comes time. It's not lost yet, because Suzume is here to clean... We're really dealing with this nonsense again? Holy shit, let me off this crazy thing! We're not playing this game! Suzume, come on! Like, you gotta break through confusion! He previously used Double Team, so having to hit the perfect line to actually hit his Pokemon is infuriating! Finally, his last Pokemon. It's pretty risky to throw Vega out here right now. She can handle this Surf, but this? Yeah, this is gonna be a common theme throughout this Elite Four run, isn't it? But Vega, she's not gonna fall for dirty tricks and completely electrocutes the Sharpedo. If this is the shit we're gonna have to keep running into, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. The battle against Phoebe was pretty seamless. Callie put a dent into her team early on, but then she started fighting back with status. Which is perfect because Kaze has Guts, which doubles his attack, but it's still not doing as much as I thought it would. This puts me into a bind. I need a safe switch into Lochte, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that without sacrificing someone. Hell with it. I looked ahead. Kaze doesn't really do too much against the remaining 3 trainers, so I sacrifice him to earn the victory. It might be a risky play, but bringing Psyche back for the Glacia battle might be the decision that turns the tide. It was! At first. But for some reason, Walrein outspeeds her? That definitely caught me off guard. At least she took down 3 other Pokemon with her, but the rest of Glacia's team ain't shit, so let's move on. What I need from Lochte here is an Ice Beam Sweep. Down to 4 Pokemon without a revive remaining is not a good spot to be in, especially since I failed my first run in both Generation 1 and 2. It doesn't help either that I threw away Callie for nothing here. My thought process was that Shelgon lowering my speed with Rock Tomb was gonna bite me. Nope, in the end, Altaria is still faster. A few potions and a few Ice Beams later, and... shit, ran out of Ice Beams? Salamence flew up on my last use of the move. I've rarely, if at all, had to use an Ether mid-battle before, but this is a first. On the 30th anniversary, no doubt. But 1 Ice Beam crits, and we're on to the champion. What's been annoying about this run is the fact that this game isn't trying to make the Elite Four difficult for the sake of challenge and fun. It's doing the exact same thing we were doing in Victory Road, where it's difficult for the sake of being difficult. And that's the most unfun way to set up difficulty in a game. When strategy goes completely out the window, it doesn't become a game of skill. Instead, it becomes a game of chance. Boss fights should never be built on that factor. If you do that, you need to better your design and skills because that's nonsense. And luck should not be a pivot point on difficult battles. I ain't saying it should be a factor at all. I'm saying it shouldn't be the main crutch. Confusion in Victory Road and against Sydney. paralysis, and speed drop fission during the rest of the Elite Four. Awful. Terrible.
Dreadful.
You want to know what a great design is for a boss fight? May, Route 110. That forces you to understand type matchups early on and what you need to prepare for, especially when you pick Mudkip as your starter. There's a reason why that battle in particular is notoriously known as difficult by the Pokemon community, but it's never scorned as annoying. A 5 out of 10 score for Generation 3's difficulty fits it perfectly. Outside of those two battles, nothing truly stands out. I mean, maybe the Norman battle, but the biggest strike against this score is crushing on luck in the Elite Four. Do better. 3 Pokemon versus Steven. Vega the Gardevoir, Suzume the Ninetales, and Lochte the Swampert. It doesn't really look good on paper, and this is where our first runs usually go to die. But damn it! Someone like me doesn't know when to quit! Ideally, I'd rather have Psyche over Vega, but relying on Lochte is our win condition. Ideally, I'd love to stay in on his Metagross right now, but we just use Overheat from Suzume, and I'm like 99% positive that an Earthquake is coming. It's his ace, so I'm going to need Lochte's tankiness to come in handy. Which it does against Metagross and Aggron. Which has Solar Beam for some dumbass reason. Don't ask me, like, why? Why didn't you switch into Cradily first? And why the f*** are you confusing me again? It's like a broken record at this point. Hell, in frustration, I accidentally used my second potion on Vega instead of Lochte, which means I have to sacrifice both Vega and Suzume just to get out of this mess. Why not? Confuse Suzume too. Tilt me off the face of the earth. It's not like I haven't broken anything yet. But I'm getting close to doing so. Ugh. I was within inches of breaking this rock to pieces. But she actually breaks out of confusion, takes down the Cradily, and now in her last breaths, burns Steven's Claydol. It's all on the shoulders of Lochte now. 2 Surfs takes that down after he heals it. And thankfully, Armaldo doesn't give too much resistance and falls right after that. For the first time, we've defeated the Elite Four in a single run. Glad I did, because f*** being confused! And that's the story of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Is there anything more after this? Not really. Only the usual complete in the Pokedex remains. There is the addition of the Battle Tower, which isn't technically new. It appeared in the 3rd game of Generation 2 Pokemon Crystal, but that's the lowest selling mainline game of all time, so I don't really think that counts. You can catch all the legendaries on top of that, but realistically, there's not much else to do. For the Battle Tower alone, the post-game deserves a 4 out of 10. Things go on for a little longer than Generation 1's post-game, and this doesn't hold a candle to Generation 2's, so I think that's a great spot to leave the rankings. Wait, there's more? Another interview? We're here with Norman to ask what he thinks about the new champion. But he's finally gonna change his mindset now.
He ain't shit. No son of mine would beat the champion, then give up his spot at the league.
Oh, come on, you deadbeat dad!
Word from Littleroot, Thrash has responded by saying he...
Nope, I'm not gonna hear whatever out of context bullshit you want to try to spin this time. This generation is over! Where does this put Generation 3 on the 30-10 tier list? If you add up all the scores together, you get a 75 out of 100 for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. This puts it well into first place, which is a surprise, because for a long time I always considered Generation 2 as my favorite. But I guess time has changed that opinion. How would you rate this generation as a whole? You better leave me comments about that, because that's where we have a conversation, and debate about it, and fist fights, and trash talk if you want. But, you know, remember to keep that part civil. With Generation 3 at the top of the list, can it protect its space? Or will the other generations take the crown? Only time will tell.